There is also this. Education Secretary Linda McMahon just dropped a hammer on Harvard, writing to the Ivy League school, quote, Harvard will cease to be a publicly funded institution and can instead operate as a privately funded institution, drawing on its colossal endowment and raising money from its large base of wealthy alumni. She goes on to say you have an approximately $53 billion head start, much of which was made possible by the fact that you are living within the walls of and benefiting from the prosperity secured by the United States of America and its free market system you teach your students to despise. Whoa. Steamboat Institute Blankley fellow Amber Duke joins me now. Amber, good morning to you. So the secretary not playing around here. Your reaction to this letter and the loss of Harvard's federal funding?
Well, I would love to be a fly on the wall in those Harvard board meetings over the past couple of weeks, but I think the broad point is this: investment is not entitlement. The federal government does have a say if they are funding the educational institution. At Harvard, the first thing that they did after the Students for Fair Admission Supreme Court case was to say, okay, we're going to find creative ways that we can work around this, aka how can we sneakily break the law? And now fast forward, and they have refused to guarantee the civil rights of Jewish students on campus. They have repeatedly tried to violate the terms of Title IX. So if you are actively violating federal law, then you don't get a dime of taxpayer money. That should be basic.
Well, looking at the numbers here, Amber, Harvard has a $53 billion endowment. Tuition is $95,000 per student, and they receive $686 million from the federal government. That's the number that they received last year. So realistically, how big of an impact will them losing that $600+ million a year be to Harvard?
It shouldn't be that much, but the problem is they want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to keep that endowment whole. They want to invest it so that they can continue to make money in stocks and investments while taking taxpayer money to actually fund things like scholarships and tuition and research and all of those issues. But I think it's time for the federal government to say that the gravy train is over. Either you play ball or you don't get to have your students' elite education reimbursed by the hardworking folks of this country.
Okay, so Harvard responded to this move. There's also a lawsuit, and so this is all going to play on the courts. But they say received another letter from the administration doubling down on demands that would impose unprecedented and improper control over Harvard University and would have chilling implications for higher education. Harvard will also continue to defend against illegal government overreach aimed at stifling research and innovation that make Americans safer and more secure. So maybe not from an ideological perspective, but in part, does Harvard have a point? What if there is a Democrat president